I'm going to explain DAL 178 software certification to you in simple terms. Hi, I'm Daryl Frank. I'm a principal systems engineer with over 25 years experience in military aircraft weapon systems integration and certification. I even wrote a book called Requirements to Reality to explain this exact mystery. DAL 178, also known as Software Considerations in Airborne Systems and Equipment Certification. It's the standard that makes sure the code running in your aircraft doesn't suddenly decide to take over flying from the pilot. If you've ever wondered why aviation software projects seem to be 50% coding and 150% paperwork, well, this is the reason. By the end of this video, you'll know what DAL 178 actually is, why software safety isn't like mechanical safety, and how DAL 178 certification actually works. Before we dive into DAL 178, let's talk about a really important concept: why software safety is different from mechanical safety. In the mechanical world, we deal with factors of safety. We can calculate things. If you're designing a wing spar or a landing gear strut, you can run a stress analysis. You can say, okay, the metal can handle 5 times more load than it will ever experience in flight. That's mechanical safety. It's physical, measurable, and predictable. But software doesn't behave like that. You can't say, this line of code has a factor of safety of 1.5. There's no yield stress for an if statement. Software doesn't wear out, crack, or fatigue. It fails because we told it to do the wrong thing, or we didn't tell it to do something it should have. So we can't test safety by overstressing software. Instead, we test and prove that every possible behavior is correctly handled. That's where DAL 178 comes in. It gives us a structured process to demonstrate that our software requirements are complete, correct, and implemented properly, and verified rigorously. It's not about adding safety margins, it's about eliminating ambiguity and untested behavior. So mechanical safety is physics-based, software safety is process-based. So what is DAL 178? It's not a programming manual or a coding guideline. It's a framework for confidence, a way to prove that software used in airborne systems has been developed under a controlled, traceable, and verified process. It was introduced in the early 1990s by the RTCA. Its purpose? To make sure that every software function in an aircraft can be trusted to do what it's supposed to do, even under unexpected conditions. At the heart of DAL 178 is the concept of design assurance levels, or DALs. It's a fancy way of saying, how bad would it be if this software failed? In order to determine the required design assurance level, we look at where the software is used, what function it would control, and what the effect would be if that function failed. So DAL A means if it fails, people could die, so your development process had better be airtight. DAL E means nobody really cares if it glitches, maybe the playlist skips a track. DAL 178 is built around 3 key ideas: planning, development, and verification. The planning process: you start by writing plans, a plan for software aspects of certification, where you will describe how you will develop, verify, and control your software. Think of it as your certification blueprint. The development process: this covers requirements, design, and coding. DAL 178 doesn't tell you which language to use, C or hieroglyphics, but it does demand consistency, traceability, and configuration control. And remember the golden rule: if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Now, DAL 178's love language is documentation. The key artifacts include the plan for software aspects of certification, software development plan, software verification plan, software configuration management plan, software quality assurance plan, software accomplishment summary. All these feed into the certification evidence package that shows how you controlled and verified every step of the development. Yes, it's a mountain of paperwork, but it's also your proof of airworthiness. Now, testing under DAL 178 isn't your average run it and see if it crashes kind of test. It's about showing that every behavior has been considered and verified. You'll encounter 3 main test types: requirements-based testing. This proves that the software meets its specified requirements. Every input and output is tested. Structural coverage analysis. This ensures that you've actually executed all the code. At DAL A and DAL B, this means modified condition and decision coverage, or MCDC. Now let's unpack that for a second, because it's one of the most feared words in aviation software. MC/DC testing means every decision, like an if statement, has been evaluated to both true and false. Every condition inside that decision has been shown to independently affect the outcome. In simpler terms, if you have multiple conditions combined in a logical expression, MC/DC proves that flipping each one individually can change the result, confirming that all parts of the logic actually matter. It's not enough to just run the code once and see that it works. You need to prove it behaves correctly under every logical permutation that could change the outcome. That's why MC/DC tests can be painful to write, but they're crucial for high safety software. And lastly, robustness testing. This is where you throw bad inputs, out of range values, and other nonsense at the software to make sure if it fails safely. Remember, the goal isn't just to show that it works, but to show that it can't fail silently. And now let's debunk a few DO178 myths. Myth 1. DO178 guarantees safe software. Not quite. It guarantees the confidence that you've used a robust, disciplined process, but you can still write bad logic beautifully. Myth 2. We'll do the documentation later. That's like saying we'll build the parachute on the way down. I've been there, and it doesn't end well. Myth 3. We can just reuse the documents from another project. Sure, and then you'll also inherit all the typos, mismatch requirements, and the entire history of pain. You can use old documents as guidance for format, but that's about it. So how do you survive DO178 without losing your sanity? Start traceability early, don't leave it to the end, so start packing your parachute. Automate where possible. Static analysis, test execution, and requirements linking. There are many tools available to assist you. And keep talking to your design engineering representative or certification authority to make sure you're going in the right direction. Redoing reports and verification costs time and money. And most importantly, keep a sense of humor, because when someone asks for one more update to the PSAC, you're going to need it. And that's DO178 in a nutshell. A structured, traceable, and sometimes maddening but ultimately brilliant way to make sure that the software flying your aircraft can be trusted. It's not about bureaucracy, it's about trust. The trust between the engineer, the regulator, and every person who steps onto an aircraft. If you found this video helpful, or at least mildly less painful than reading the actual DO178 document, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more systems engineering sanity. And drop a comment below with your favorite certification horror story. And remember, if it wasn't documented, it didn't happen. Check the description for the link to my book, Requirements to Reality, which explains systems engineering in simple language.